Journey to meet Domnu. Set up a small altar with a candle in the middle. Seat yourself before it, making sure you are comfortable. Light your candle, close your eyes and breathe deeply for a while, allowing your body and mind to slow down and be at rest. With every inhalation of breath, breathe in relaxation, and with every exhalation, breathe out the cares and concerns of the day till you are focused only on the now. As your mind slows down, you find yourself becoming more receptive. And as you hear the words that I speak, you find yourself following them easily and travelling where they lead you. Be aware of the directions: the east, place of air; the south, place of fire; the west, place of water; and the north, place of earth; and the centre, place of all beginnings and endings, and of the void, which contains all things. Let your awareness of these directions carry your love and respect to them and the beings that dwell therein. With your inner vision, you see the candle on your altar grow and expand into a wall of flame, and you step through it to the other side and into the convocation of light. You see the great hearth fire that burns brightly in the centre of the gateways in each of the directions. You turn toward the western gate and walk toward it. It is an archway decorated with many seashells, mother of pearl, nautilus, scallop, and spiral shells. When you reach it, you step through it to the other side and find you are standing on a walkway that runs right along the edge of the sand and beyond the sand in the sea. You spend a few moments here, becoming aware of the great multitude of beings that dwell here: the fish, the sea mammals, the insects, the seabirds, the seaweeds which drift lazily in the tidal waters, and the creatures that dwell in the tide pools. You feel into the sea itself and feel the great host of life, both visible and invisible, that makes its home there. You look up into the great sea of space, and then toward the western horizon, where the silvery sliver of a crescent moon is about to sink into the western sea, with the first stars of night twinkling faintly around it in the darkening sky. You walk into the ocean and stand there for a moment, noticing the pull of the tide on your legs and feet and the feel of the lapping waves. You walk out further. Then you allow yourself to be carried by the tides, going out further and further still. Finally, you dive down into the sea and swim towards the bottom. Your eyes are open as you swim, and you notice that dolphins and fish are swimming beside you and seem very curious about you. You swim down, and it grows darker and darker, lit only by the phosphorescence of an occasional sea creature, till at length you can barely see around you at all, but still you swim on, going deeper and deeper down until you reach the ocean floor. In the dimness, you can see that there is an opening on the ocean floor, and you swim into it. You find it is like a tunnel, so you dive down into it, swimming deeper and deeper. As the slant of the tunnel becomes more steep, you find yourself moving more rapidly, being carried down by a cascade of water into a swirling, watery vortex. As you fall into this, You can no longer see your surroundings, but are sucked downwards, swirling down and down till the narrowing vortex suddenly widens out. The water flow decreases and slows, and the remaining water empties itself into a pool within a dimly lit cavern. You flow in with the water and find yourself being dumped into the pool. The water seems warmer here, and steam rises from the pool you are in. You look around and notice the cave walls, the rocks, the shells, and the many creatures gathered on the rocks around the pool. They seem to be watching you. Colourful seaweeds of many varieties drape around the rocks and creatures in the cave. You notice a woman sitting on one of the larger rocks in the pool. She is watching you. She too is draped with seaweed. Her gown seems to be made of it as well. Her skin has the suggestion of scales and iridescence upon it, and her hair seems to glimmer as if reflecting moonlight. Her eyes are like deep pools of blue-green water. This is Domnu, the Sea Queen, and she is watching you with great curiosity. She beckons you closer. You stand up in the shallow pool and move closer to her. She looks upon you with wonder. You look at her. She has a strange elemental feel to her. She speaks to you, and you listen. You reach into your heart and pull out a gift for her, something that represents your humanness. And she reaches into the folds of her seaweed-like gown and produces a gift for you. She speaks and asks that next time you come to visit, you bring her something from the land as a gift. You ask Domnu if there is anything you can do to help the sea and to help in the work of the Sea Temple. She looks into your heart, and then she begins to speak to you. You listen. She finishes, and you know it is time for you to leave. She points across the cave to an opening in the rock wall, and you walk through it. Immediately you fall into a deep pool of water. You start swimming and see a tunnel going off to one side. You swim into it, finding yourself swimming upward. The tunnel ends and you swim back out into the ocean. You swim up and up through the ocean's dim waters, again noting the creatures who swim around and beside you. You swim towards the surface, and there are water currents helping to bear you upward. When you reach the surface, you swim to the shore, and finally, reaching the shore, you walk out of the sea and back onto the sand. You turn back to the sea and make an offering to the sea from your heart. Then you gather driftwood that is lying nearby and lay a fire on the shore. Reaching into yourself, you pull out a bit of your own inner flame and use this to light the fire. Do this as a love offering to Domnu, the Sea Mother, the Maristella, the Star of the Sea. You watch it as it ignites and blazes up. You know the tide will come and take your fire offering to the Sea Mother, Domnu. You spend a moment thinking about the creativity inherent in fire and water. You arise now, walk across the sand and back toward the walkway. As you approach the walkway, the scenery fades and changes, and you find yourself stepping back into this room, this place, this time. You spend a few moments settling back into your body and coming back to your normal state of consciousness. You are back. When you feel ready, you may open your eyes.